What we do here is go back.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Mello. Now, we usually don't talk about politics over here, but there are some things going on at the inauguration that had me moving my damn invisible bang out the way.
Oh, no way.
Trump officially took office on Monday, and let me tell you, it is already looking to be a long 4 years. Now, after being sworn in, he wasted no time in setting some things straight. He signed quite a few executive orders, and it has a lot of people talking. Check this breakdown out to get a better sense of what's to come.
President Trump signed 8 executive orders in front of a crowd at the end of his inaugural parade and speech. There are 3 orders in particular that I want to call your attention to, and then we will get to the rest. So one is titled Price Relief for American Families and Defeating the Cost of Living Crisis. So in this order, Trump suggests it was the regulatory oppression from the Biden administration that increased the cost of living in America. But as I've reported, no president can order prices to be lowered. That's just not how capitalism works. So what Trump did in this executive order was to order heads of every department to take whatever legal steps they can to lower the cost of housing and expand housing supply, eliminate unnecessary administrative expenses and rent-seeking practices that increase healthcare costs, eliminate counterproductive requirements that raise the cost of home appliances, create employment opportunities for American workers, including drawing discouraged workers into the labor force, and eliminate harmful, coercive climate policies that increase the costs of food and fuel. But that's all very vague and certainly cannot happen overnight. For example, expanding the housing supply will take months or years, and that's if you can get the companies to actually build the homes. But with everything, we will just have to wait and see how that all plays out. The second executive order from that event I want to call your attention to is the order titled Restoring Freedom of Speech and Ending Federal Censorship. In this order, Trump says over the last 4 years, the previous administration trampled free speech rights by censoring American speech on online platforms, often by exerting substantial coercive pressure on third parties such as social media companies to moderate, deplatform, or otherwise suppress speech that the federal government did not approve. Under the guise of combating misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation, the federal government infringed on the constitutionally protected speech rights of American citizens across the United States in a manner that advanced the government's preferred narrative about significant matters of public debate. So, this order says the federal government should not be in the business of policing misinformation or disinformation. And the third executive order I want to call your attention to from that event is the one titled Ending the Weaponization of the Federal Government. In this order, President Trump says the Biden administration and its allies engaged in unprecedented third world weaponization of prosecutorial power to upend the democratic process. So to end what Trump calls the weaponization of government, Trump is directing his Attorney General and Director of National Intelligence to investigate the investigators in the Department of Justice, the Securities Exchange Commission, and the Federal Trade Commission, especially as it relates to the last 4 years. But the very first executive order Trump signed at that Capital One Arena event was no surprise. He signed an executive order rescinding 78 executive orders that President Biden issued. Everything from Biden's executive order to direct the federal government to continue to implement the safe, secure, and trustworthy development and use of artificial intelligence, to withdrawing Biden's White House initiative on advancing education, equity, excellence, and economic opportunity for Native Americans. At that Capital One event, Trump also signed orders to withdraw from the Paris Climate Treaty and enact regulatory freezes on all government agencies, meaning they cannot issue any kind of federal rule on anything until the Trump cabinet takes full control of the government. He signed an executive order to freeze all new federal hiring except for military members and those in immigration enforcement, national security, and public safety. And he issued an order directing all heads of departments and agencies to take all the necessary steps to terminate remote work and require all federal employees to return in person to their desks.
Quite a lot going on, isn't it? Now, while the executive orders are drawing a lot of attention, there's something that has people talking even more. At Trump's inauguration, every major tech and social media CEO was present. I mean, we're talking Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Meta and Instagram, Jeff Bezos, former CEO of Amazon, Shou Chu, the CEO of TikTok, and then there was Elon Musk, who's the CEO of Tesla and X.
During that second speech, I just kept thinking, all of those tech billionaires, those tech magnates that were right behind him during the inauguration, closer than his incoming potential cabinet secretaries, I wonder what they're thinking now, right? Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, who was never a supporter of Donald Trump before, who was there, right? Even Bill Gates, who wasn't there, but in the last week said he met with Donald Trump and was so impressed. I'm wondering what those people were thinking about that second speech that Donald Trump gave. Of course, they weren't there. You know, he was flanked by Steve Scalise and Mike Johnson, who are, of course, going to applaud him. But those CEOs who are not just the richest people in the world, they're not just typical CEOs. They're not running, you know, Halliburton or Exxon or even Walmart. These are the people that run the biggest communications outlets in the world. And that is who Donald Trump is choosing to have closest to him. So what I'm thinking is, what are we actually going to see? What are we going to hear in the next 4 years, given their amount of control and how much they are now, I'm not going to say in his pocket, but very close to this.
Now, one thing I've learned about working alongside, you know who, placement is very important. The CEO always gets the biggest office, managers and supervisors, they always sit up front, you know, that kind of thing. Seeing and watching this and seeing how these tech and CEOs and billionaires are in front of his own cabinet, now that sends a message to me of who he values the most. And look, y'all, make no mistake, because I believe that it is those CEOs and billionaires that he's going to be working closely with to affect change and policy. It will not be his cabinet members, you know, allegedly. Now, that also opened up a different conversation of how the US has turned into an oligarchy. And look, if you're anything like me, I was 2 to 3 days years old when I found out what an oligarchy is. But nothing a quick Google search can't fix. Now, according to Google, an oligarchy is a small group of people having control of a country, organization, or institution. Now, I want you all to check this out.
We started as an oligarchy, and it was a planter class oligarchy, and then we became a railroad and industrial magnate oligarchy, and the only 100 years in which we have not been an oligarchy is the 20th century. And I do think the greatest trick that the billionaire class played was to figure out how to make themselves cool to working class, mainly white, but even some non-white people who aspired to them. And they said, no, Donald Trump is your aspiration. You can get there. And now look at these guys. Here's the people who are going to attend the inaugural. The Uber CEO, the PayPal CEO, the SpaceX CEO, Elon Musk, Amazon CEO, Meta CEO, on and on and on. They now control the media so that they can tell white working class and brown working class and black working class people, no. The billionaires aren't the enemy. It's the gays. It's the trans. It's the immigrants. It's the brown people. Don't focus on us. Focus on them.
Here's my theory. The CEOs and billionaires, they are now the ones in control alongside President Trump. You know, they've always said that the news and media is controlled. And to be honest, you know, not a lot of people watch the news these days. Majority of people now, they are getting their news from social media. Now, there is just no way in hell all of these tech and social media CEOs are front and center for Trump like this. Going forward, I think social media is going to become even more controlled, and I think that is going to swing in one direction particularly. Now, the last piece that I want to touch on is the salute that Elon Musk did. Some people are calling it a Roman salute, and others are saying that it's something that'll get you arrested if you do it in Germany. Check this out.
Again, just if anybody missed it, we'll just show it again. He's just wrapped up here. You can hear there. All right, so we just showed that. We just showed that.
Right. Salute. It was quick. I think our viewers are smart and they can take a look at that, but it certainly was, it's not something that you typically see at American political rallies.
This is all I'm thinking about.
Oh boy. Nazis.
If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to go ahead and give it a thumbs up or thumbs down, as that's okay too. Don't forget to drop a comment down below. Now, what do you think about President Trump's inauguration? What do you think about all those tech CEOs and billionaires being in attendance? And as always, if you're not already, please make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel and make sure to hit that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos. I hope everyone has a great rest of their day, and I'll catch you all on the next one.